All right, so in videos 1 and 2, we talked about how to do a one sample t-test and a t-test for dependent means, or a paired samples t-test in PSPP or SPSS software. Now we're going to move on to the last kind of t-test that we're going to talk about in this unit, which is the t-test for independent means. Make sure you have a solid understanding of how that differs from your textbook and lectures before watching this. So I'm using the same example data that I've been using all along, but this time I've added group. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, maybe I don't know the overall population score of this test of all students. They've never given it to all students. That hasn't happened. So maybe I wanted to compare to see if my stress reduction seminar would work better than just having students read a book on stress reduction. So now, and all this language should be familiar to you because I'm hoping all of you have had research methods before taking this course. But let's say that now I'm saying that my group represents a control group and an experimental group. So I've added a group line here. I've labeled it treatment group or TX group. And for my value labels, I've told the software that 0 equals the control group, or the students that I had read a stress reduction book, and that 1 equals the experimental group, or the group that actually took our stress reduction seminar class. And what I've done is I've gone through on the data and I just randomly put ones and zeros. There's no rhyme or reason to this. So if something comes out significant, it's not because I went through and cherry picked it to make it that way. So how would we analyze this? Well, first of all, let's think about what we're trying to find. Maybe we want to verify that in the beginning, just like what we did when we did a one sample t-test, maybe we want to verify that in the beginning that there was no statistical difference in the stress scores on the pretest between our control group and our experimental group, right? We didn't accidentally choose an experimental group that already had much lower stress levels. So let's come up here to analyze, compare means, because again, that's what a t-test is all about, is comparing means. And now we're going to come down here to an independent samples t-test, which is also the t-test of independent means. So let's click this. Now, we said we wanted to make sure on our pretest that there wasn't any difference by group. So we're going to tell it what we're testing. What we're interested in is the pretest score. But we're also going to tell it our groups that it should be comparing is this treatment group. And we need to define it because we need to tell the software exactly what to do. So we're going to click on define groups and we're going to tell it that the group 1 value is going to be this control group. The group 2 value is going to be this experimental group. That's all we need to do for right now. And let's click continue. So we click OK. We come down here to our output. We're going to scroll down. And we're going to see that for this specific example, pay attention to this one right here on the bottom. For this specific example, our control group started with a mean of 50.2. Our experimental started with a mean of 59.81. And you are going to see that on this significance, the Levine's test, our significance level was 0.393. And on each of these, our significance was 0.067. So it was close to reaching statistical significance for a difference, but it didn't have it. So we can proceed knowing that in the beginning, our tests were not statistically significantly different. Now that's how I'm actually going to close this so we can get rid of all this gunk from our prior examples so it's easier to read. So now let's see at the end, was it different? So video number 2, I'm going to stop this for here. And on video number 2, we're going to see what we can do in terms of looking at this post-test.